of course. Hot, hot, hot. Hot.
Coming
It's
in
hotter
hot.
than hell. Okay, check, check, check. You're all good, Mr.
I
Pep?
think so.
Here we go. Three, two, one. 96.7 KCAL rocks. It is a Thursday, and things we love to do is talk to our guy Pep about sports. Pep, what's going down?
Yo, Patrick, listen, man, we always talk a lot of football, so guess what? We're going to talk football in just a second, but we are in spring training right now. We're getting ready for the upcoming baseball season, and here's a very quick spring training update, one that hits close to home for our SoCal teams with the Angels and the Dodgers. First off, the Angels, they lost to the Cubs yesterday 6-5, but a quick shout out to our guy Jake Marisnick, the pride of Riverside Poly High School, and he's bounced around the major leagues. I've lost track, to be honest, of all the different teams he's played for, but he's had a really long, successful career, and now he's with the Angels. Hit a home run yesterday against the Cubs.
Yeah, he's back home a little bit. Believe it or not, our sales guy, Tony, is really good friends with that family. And he was going down the list of all the teams that he played for. And it was like, wow, I mean, he still is a wanted dude. And then he
Yes.
said that, his parents were really excited that he's kind of back home a little bit and he's doing well. So that's cool.
Yeah, he's had a long career. He's played on a bunch of teams. He's got power. He's got speed. So he's great defensively. So there's a spot for him out there. So the Angels trying to find him a spot in their everyday lineup. So shout out to Jake Marisnick from Riverside Poly. On the Dodgers side, not to hit the panic button just yet, but they spent $300 million on starting pitcher Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And Yamamoto, Patrick, has not looked good in spring training so far. He got roughed up again yesterday against the White Sox, giving up 5 runs in 3 innings. And his ERA for the spring, at least, is 9. And the key word there is the spring, at least, because it's just spring training. But yeah, he has not been dominant.
Right. And I mean, some of this is, like you said, it is spring training. So he could be working on things. Kind of the same thing at the plate sometimes as, guys are working on their swing. He can kind of try stuff out here and take chances. Even if the effects are negative right now, they may pay off. Nevertheless, we've talked about this before. The Dodgers are under that supposed to win pressure, which I'm telling you is another level of pressure. Let's hope Yamamoto can settle in for the Dodgers.
Yeah, just because you spend a ton of money does not guarantee you anything.
No.
Believe it or not, I'm a Mets fan. The Mets spent a ton of money last year. The Padres spent a ton of money. They didn't do anything. So just because you spend the most money does not mean you're going to win a World Series. It still has to work on the field. So the Dodgers went all in, and that's great. But these guys still have to get it done.
I mean, Moneyball. They made a movie out of it.
Yes, they
You know what I mean? Not spending a ton of money. It matters, with team chemistry. There's so much more going on. Baseball, especially in all these sports, is very weird and uncontrollable.
Listen, I'm very frugal. I don't like to spend money, so I like Moneyball. I like how the Oakland A's used to do it and put that team together, and it can work. Like you don't have to spend $300 million. You can, I don't know, maybe spend $50 million or $70 million and still put together a good team. It's kind of what the Angels are doing right now, right? I know they still got Anthony Rendon. He's got that big contract, and of course the greatest of the great, Mike Trout. But they've got a bunch of young guys, kind of some homegrown guys coming up, and they're going to try to make that work.
In a great situation, they're the opposite.
Yes.
No one's expecting crap out of them.
Yes.
So I think they have a real shot to do some damage.
Yeah, because you're right. The expectation is none at this point, right? So anything they do is going to be better than what people expected. So, yeah, the Angels and Dodgers are on opposite ends of the spectrum right now in terms of at least expectations going into the season.
Yes.
All right, NFL free agency, Patrick. It will begin in less than a week, actually. Next Wednesday, the new NFL season begins, NFL free agency. And our local guy, Alexander Mattison, the starting running back for the Minnesota Vikings, after 5 seasons with the Vikings, he was released. And he's going to be looking for a new home. And maybe it's the Chargers because Austin Ekeler looks like he's going to be on the move. And Alexander Madison's kind of like an Ekeler guy. He's a little bigger, but he can run the football. He can also catch the football out of the backfield.
Right. I mean, the running back position has morphed into such a different thing. When we were children, when we were kids, Pep, the glamorous position was the running back. It is just different nowadays, and it is true. There's these running backs that can catch and run. Even this weekend, my son is going to be at a football camp. with the original runner and catcher, Marshall Faulk, the prototype. Now, every team has that, but I mean, it goes to show you can't just be a running back anymore. It's almost like you got to be a wide receiver and a running back all in one.
Yeah, you got to do it all. And unfortunately, running backs don't get paid like a receiver or some of these other positions. But for going back to Austin Ekeler and being a running back that can catch the football, Patrick, when I think of the top running backs in the NFL, he usually doesn't come to mind, Austin Ekeler. No. But I looked up his stats. Get this, the last 3 years, Ekeler has the most touchdowns in all the NFL from scrimmage. He's got 44. He led the NFL in touchdowns in 2021 and 2022, and he's only one of 7 running backs in NFL history to catch 30 touchdowns and also rush for 30 touchdowns. Of course, leading that entire list is your guy, Marshall Faulk. You just talked about going to be out in the desert. But he really has enjoyed like a really good run with the Lightning Bolts.
I think it was why he was trying to get paid, because he was like, hey, for some reason I'm not getting the recognition. But if you do look at his numbers, yes, he's actually a pretty damn good player.
He's really good. Like I said, I just never thought of him when I think about the top running backs. Like, he never was near the top of my list, but he really has. He really has produced, and it looks like he'll be on the move. And like I said, Alexander Mattison, he could be a guy that you could plug in there with the Lightning Bolts and hopefully not miss a beat. I mean, he's really good, and we'll see. He's the pride of San Bernardino High School. We want to see good things for him, obviously.
Time for him to come home.
Hey, bring it home to SoCal, man. Put up some big numbers for the Chargers. Well, the big news, Patrick, is Russell Wilson. The Broncos parting ways with Russell Wilson. So twofold here is, where is Russell Wilson going to end up? I'm sure he wants to be a starting quarterback. He's not going to go somewhere to back up somebody else. And also, what is Denver going to do, man? You're in a division with the Kansas City Chiefs. You got Justin Herbert and the Chargers, who are just waiting to explode. You know, they're going to one of these years figure it out. So, I mean, who's Denver going to bring in to try to be competitive?
There's tons of Pittsburgh Steelers talk with the trouble that they're having with Kenny Pickett. So they're saying, how much better, we already have a solid defense if you're the Steelers. How much better would they be with Russell Wilson? Also, the joke in Seattle is, I believe the Broncos have to pay him like $39 million minus whatever the new team pays him. They're saying that Russell should sign with Seattle for $1, and then you sting him back.
Oh my gosh, would that be amazing? Like, if he actually, but I don't know. I don't really. Do you see that happening?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
jokes.
I'm with you. Like, there's a lot of talk about the Steelers, the Atlanta Falcons. That name has popped up a little bit. I mean, he's going to go somewhere and probably be the starter. But I'm very curious what Denver's going to do, if they're going to go find maybe some veteran journeymen and draft a quarterback that they can kind of develop for a season or two. So it's kind of interesting, both sides. What's Russell Wilson going to do? What's Denver going to do?
Right. Figuring out this draft may move the dominoes around. I mean, our boy Jaden Daniels, his stock is rising. I mean, there's many of the ESPN heads who are getting behind him. Even one of them, I believe Damian Woody, saying that he believes he's better than the USC quarterback, our guy Caleb Williams. He thinks Jaden Daniels may be better than him, so it's getting wild.
It is. I mean, when you consider Caleb Williams did not have a great final season at USC, and then Jaden Daniels' numbers were off the chart, of course, Heisman Trophy winner. So, yeah, it is a great crop of quarterbacks in this NFL draft. So I think a lot of teams are going to take their time looking at maybe 6, 7, 8 quarterbacks: Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy. I could go on and on, but there's probably like 8 guys that you're like, they could be franchise quarterbacks. So there's a lot of teams, I think, going to be testing the waters going into the draft.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens there.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And finally, NBA news last night. I'm not bringing it up just because my Sacramento Kings hammered the Lakers. But, Patrick, here's the story about the Lakers. They led by 19 in the first quarter against Sacramento. And then the Kings came back and won 130-120. I think it's a scenario where LeBron can be great. We talked about this like a broken record. But, man, other guys are going to have to step up, because even if LeBron has an off night, or if he can't do enough, I mean, if the Lakers score 120, you think they're going to win, but they still lost 130-120. They need to figure it out before the regular season ends.
I think it's big trouble, because it's just like you said, they're too LeBron dependent. You can just see how he just has to do too much to make them win. And I mean, I think he's just at that age where he can't do it anymore.
Yeah, and he can't do it. And if he does have an off night, who's going to step up? Anthony Davis is kind of a shell of himself. He's still a great player, but like he's not a franchise guy. And so it's just interesting. And right now they're going to be a play-in tournament team again, which they were the 7 seed last year and made it all the way to the Western Conference Final. So it's doable. They've done it. They did it last year. But it's just I think that road in the West is just tougher because there's a lot of, not great teams, but a lot of really good teams in the Western Conference.
I hate being a negative Nelly, but I think it's big trouble for the Lakers for sure.
Yeah, if you play with fire long enough, you're going to get burned.
Ah, boy. We always learn something when we talk with our guy, Pep, man. Tell him how to get your stuff.
Oh, just dropping knowledge, man. Get my stuff on Inland Sports, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We got the Inland Sports YouTube channel. If you're down with the IE, you like local sports, check us out. That's Inland Sports.
Thanks, Pep.